There seems to be an awful lot of sad stories in the news today, and there are thousands missing. Does anybody care? We built a channel where we talk about those faces. Talking News with Debbie. Cassie Barron's has still not been found, and it's been 2 years since her case first hit the spotlight. Breaking. Charles Vallow and Lori Vallow both behind bars. Sarah Galloway was found. She wasn't found alive. What happened to Sarah Galloway?
It's too heartbreaking to share.
Children are still missing. Children like Dorsey. You're in shame. You just got away with it. Welcome to Talking News. Hello everyone. My name is Debbie. We use big stories to push little faces.
Hello everyone, welcome to Chasing a Murder Talking News. Today we're doing a Talking News episode. Before we get started, please take a moment to subscribe and like and say hello in the comments. This helps the channel out and tells YouTube, at least the algorithm, that we want to see more videos like this. So this is attached to the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case. And those of you that are following the Lori Vallow case have learned about some very strange teachings. And that we all have these spirits that we carry in our bodies. And that these spirits actually can be ranked on how light or dark that they are. Spirits who walk this earth without their structures / body, looking for new bodies to take over. Lori and Chad believe that many of these people, and there are spirits, they have an agency here and during their earth lifetime, and have many lifetimes before the current life they're living today. And they call this premortal lives. Demons are real. They are bodiless spirits looking for a body to take up residing, okay? And we've learned this with Charles Vallow, Brandon Boudreaux, Tyler Ryan, Joseph Ryan as well, guys, J.J. Vallow, Kay Woodcock, and many others that do not support Chad or Lori and their beliefs. We have learned that Lori Vallow's children, especially, they claim their bodies have been taken over by demons or other spirits that they deem zombies. Though, throughout this case, many of us following this case really haven't found a definition for this term zombie and its origins, at least for the way that they're using this term. However, that being said, there are a few things that I'm looking over that are attached to some rituals, some past religious belief that maybe just give us answers as to why, they use this term. If you're not familiar with this story, please go back and check out Life Beyond the Grave. Start with part 1. And right now, I believe that we are on part 55 of that series. So, the first victim in the story to become a zombie was Lori Vallow's 4th husband, Charles Vallow. In fact, Charles Vallow would be proclaimed to have several spirits take over his body during 2019, well, let's say January of 2019 until his death of 2019. After Lori and Chad had started emailing each other on a regular basis, it's around October 30th of 2018 that Lori receives an email of requested information ranking several people she knows, their spirits anyways. It says, here are the family history documents you requested. This rubric, which graded each person on their light and dark levels, well, was quite interesting, but lacked a lot of details. According to a few friends of Chad Daybell, Chad believed people die and that they are reborn to this earthly realm. And they are given another chance to walk in the light of God. And on this ranking system, he scored a few people attached to Lori, ranking them either a high light spirit or a high or low dark spirit. So let's try to go over this and try to make sense of it. So Lori's only daughter, Tylee Ryan, at least based on my research, there's a lot to be worried about with the fact that Tylee Ryan has a lot of medical issues growing up. I want to jump to this real quick, guys, before I forget. And these medical problems that Tylee Ryan is suffering, medical staff, they're not able to figure it out. And this is going to be important, I think, to Tylee Ryan's ranking, because we know Lori Vallow married her third husband, Joseph Ryan, and divorced him right after Tylee was born. And this is based off the accusations of, toward him, that he was doing dark things to his own daughter and son, but also the accusations and threats to his life, the attempts to take his life over the years. We know that Lori Vallow absolutely hated Joseph Ryan more than anyone else on this earth, at least for a period of time. In October of 2018, Chad has marked this innocent child as a dark soul, ranking a 4.1, one of the highest levels of darkness in the ranking system. And we know that her father, Joseph Ryan, was also ranked dark, but also sealed away. Now, there's something I found that was pretty important, and it was the ranking difference between Tylee Ryan and her adopted brother, J.J. Vallow. They were ranked on the opposite ends of the ranking spectrum. In fact, Tylee Ryan being ranked as a dark 4, and J.J. Vallow being ranked a 4.2 light spirit or good spirit. Also, Lori's current husband at this time and fourth husband, Charles Vallow, is, he's been with this woman for over 12 years. One of the main foundations of keeping that family together, and he's being ranked dark as well. Things you should know about Chad and Lori is that they are copycats. Chad has said multiple times that he is not creative, referring to his written material, most likely meaning that they get their information from others or other materials available to them from books and history. Over 2 years, I have researched this story in depth. And I research in areas a lot of people do not. And I have found, or I believe, that Chad's go-to sources, and before we go into too deep to that, guys, to the spiritual ranking, is attached to several biblical documents, such as Zechariah 12:01, Isaiah 42:5, states clearly that God has stretched forth the earth and formed the spirit of man within him. The spirit can be used to contact God. In fact, you can only contact God through the spirit. If you do not have God in your spirit, your soul will be empty. In other words, our bodies are just vessels. They're filled in with spirits or souls, something Chad and Lori believe with all their soul. And on the other hand, there are clean and light spirits, and there are also dark spirits. These spirits are without body and are in limbo, who walk the earth looking for new vessels so that they might live again. The purpose of this is for them to feel, have passion, hunger, sadness, perversion, empathy, all these things that humans are able to feel. Then you have Satan's dominions, known as the demons, who are also hunting for vessels. In Matthew 12:43, when an unclean spirit is gone out of man, He walketh through the dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Likewise, as do demons. They must scheme to find that rest, guys. And this is what Lori and Chad believe. And let's try to look at it from Lori's point of view, if she truly believes in this. For Lori, this would be a very dangerous world. Imagine everywhere that you go or you look, you hear unclean spirits. And after, maybe you even start talking to dark spirits like Satan. When Lori meets Chad, she only fuels the fire that was already burning. When he sends Lori these ranking systems of spirits and gives her more information on her premortal life and even claims that she's had several past lives, this isn't something new to her. Now remember, most people view these stories of Satan as a metaphor, but not Lori. Satan exists in this physical and spiritual realms. Now let's jump to another topic real quick. We know in the summer of 2019, Chad claims that Lori's husband, Charles Vallow, is dead, and that there will be multiple entities take over his body from or in between January 2019 until his end in July of 2019. One of those spirits or demons that take over Charles Vallow's body after his spirit has died and left his vessel, they call this spirit an unclean spirit, and it's named Hiplos, at least one of them. Many people following this case have searched and searched for answers as to who this Hiplos could be. And if you use online sources, well, you're not going to really find much there. I know I didn't. It wasn't until I bought books on demons that's about a few weeks ago, and I found a name that matched. It was spelled Hiplos, and then another spelling Hiplepos. He is mentioned in the sacred magic of Abraham the Mage. Sorry guys, I was tripping over myself there. He is in fact a demon and an arch enemy of another demon by the name of Astaroth. Both names actually connected to ritual magic based on how hard it was to get this information on Hiplos. Think about it. I mean, it was very tough for me to just get that little bit of information, and I'm actually going to share more information in the Life Beyond the Grave series. So when we get to that time, anyways, based on how hard, guys, it was to find information on Hiplos, I have come to find out that Chad Daybell must be fascinated with the studies of this ritual magic. This means that Chad most likely read and studied these books on the magical powers of God and the higher ranks who also practice magic. Studies of evocation of demons or demon races is quite common in these teachings. They also learn to call on demons, but also angelic forces as well. So something seems to be somewhat drifting off a totally different direction of the Mormon teachings and Christianity or even Jewish. And a lot of it seems to kind of, if you've studied Julie Rowe seemed to have interest in this stuff as well. According to these teachings, spirits and angelic powers are considered superior in power. In some of these teachings, they give warnings that if demons are summoned but get loose, that the person that are invoking them will lose control, and this can cause havoc and more. Also in these teachings, spirits can become familiar, which means that they become pet-like. So you call on them and they'll, do what you ask of them. And my research takes me into at least the informal teachings of Kabbalah, where they make up their own ideas of how Kabbalah works, and of course the teachings. And so really nobody's really talked about how divergent Chad and Lori's teachings are. Angels, a being of good entities, act beyond nature, men, devils, or elements. And what I have found quite interesting, and respectfully, Mormons, if you're listening, don't take this in a negative way, I did find a lot of information that Joseph Smith might have got some of his ideas and some of their rituals and traditions that they carry within their religion, many of it being like the white clothing that they wear from head to toe, the underneath garments. And I feel this is a possibility where Chad might have got mixed up and thought that he could have combined these darker teachings in with the Mormon way. If you read these books like the Keys of Solomon and so on, you'll find out that a lot of them claim that Moses, David, Solomon, Aaron, and many other saints were of magic teaching. They had the true divine wisdom of that as taught in the Kabbalah, for example, through the Jewish rabbis. And that's all I'm going to cover on that for you guys right now. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about who Hiplos could be. Just a little bit, because I need to save some for Life Beyond the Grave, because I worked so hard on that series. And one of the most interesting things before I'm go into more on the demons here, I've found through some of these magic books is hints of some mages, is what they call magicians, who were leading occults and how they were causing divorces amongst couples. And they were destroying men through means of taking their lives, to put it nicely. Very familiar to what Chad and Lori do in this lifetime. Because remember, a lot of the couples, a lot of people that they were involved with, their marriages were tore to pieces. They were divorced and remarried. So Hiplos, we know, was the arch enemy of Astaroth, one of the 72 demons named in the few of the magical books. His name appears in several books and is said to hold the rank of a duke with the command over 40 legions of lesser spirits. He can take an appearance as a loathsome angel. He rides an infernal dragon and carries a viper in his right hand. In some of the books, I believe that Chad Daybell is reading and following. He is actually seen as the prince of a demonic order of accusers and inquisitors. The only major difference between Astaroth and these descriptions in many of these books is that the demon rides a wolf or a dog or a dragon. Astaroth is said to teach liberal sciences, and like many of the spirits, he will also discourse on matters of the past, present, and future, as well as the secrets of the occult knowledge. Astaroth can confer heavenly knowledge as well. He is said to speak freely about the creator of spirits, the fall of the spirits, and the variations of sins they committed that inspired their fall. He's known to be connected to ceremonial magic, a horrible spirit, his breath being so bad that it could make you sick. Teaches seven liberal arts. In the book of the Keys of Solomon, he is said to govern all the spirits in the Americas. And in the same book where Hiplos is found, he's considered one of the 8 sub-princes to rule over all demons. Now here's a very interesting connection or coincidence to Joseph Smith. He has the power to discover mines and transmute metals. He can reveal the location of treasure, at least unless it's magically guarded. He has the impressive powers of destruction, causing he can also transform men and animals. They say that this demon actually has origins in the Bible, where in the book of Judges and in the first book of Samuel, he is referred to as Ashtaroth. Also has the connection to Eos. It's not really certain the gender of this one, this demon, but he goes back and forth between he and she. So at least we know now that Hiplos is a demon. So, and like I said, guys, I'll go into a lot more details as I go more deeper into the series. Hiplos is not a very common demon name. It's very difficult to find. It's very difficult to get a lot of information on. But we at least know now that Lori and Chad were claiming that Charles Vallow, his spirit left his body and a demon took over that vessel. This started to make more sense to me as I started reading these books, which I'll go into more details in the series as well, and how they started talking about witchcraft ways, such as thinking Lori was attacking the, people in their dreams. No doubt in my mind that they had started their own occult with their own rules, and Chad Daybell planned to sit in the center of this new society or community they call Zion. And you'll see why I say that through the series as well. In fact, you can check out the latest upload and you'll find out, you'll get some hints as to why I say that. While Chad Daybell seems to be regretting all of these things today, he definitely wasn't regretting or had any remorse during the time this was going down. And I was not surprised that Lori would have little remorse. Let me reword that, if any remorse at all. Definitely, this was some pretty dark stuff going on within this community and this group of people. They were working with the idea of magic, working with the elements of the earth, as we know through Zelima and several other women that were in that group. Definitely safe to say that they were practicing priestcraft because they were making money. Though their spotlight was limited, they were still seeking light. So definitely these guys were a bunch of priestcraft sinners, in my opinion. And the church has seen many of these people, go in that direction and really didn't put a stop to it early enough, which ended up causing them a lot of problems that's still going today. The thing that bothers me the most in this case is how much it seemed that Lori disliked her own child, Tylee Ryan. And I think that Lori Vallow's family probably know exactly where I'm trying to get at here. I think a few friends do as well. I don't think Lori ever truly loved Tylee Ryan. I think she hated Joseph Ryan so much that she couldn't love her own daughter. That's my opinion, guys. And the fact that the girl was so sick and it couldn't be explained, I hope that the investigators are also looking into that. I know it's too late, but you should at least have the complete truth. I just really probably feel really bad for Joseph Ryan and Tylee Ryan, and the fact that many family members, especially for Joseph Ryan, just created more havoc for the child by following or doing what Lori Vallow asked of them. It appears, especially when you look at the ranking system, that Lori might have loved JJ more than her own daughter. So that's just speculation, guys, based off of what you can learn off the research. And it's really sad. And I'm not doing this to bash her, but to learn why. Why did this happen the way that it did? So guys, share your own thoughts and your own opinions below. Don't forget, check out the faces that continue to go on missing, like Summer Wells, Monkey, Jasmine Robinson, Kiera Coles. So many more, guys. We're getting a lot of justice this year. The Delphi murder, which I've been doing a timeline on for about probably a week now. There's several others that we'll go over hopefully soon. Hope you guys have a wonderful and safe Halloween. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.